and welcome to Chatbox with Sam. Today's guest is actress Michelle Bernard. She's a very wonderful lady and human being. I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, Michelle. How are you?
How are you? I'm so happy to finally be here with you.
I know. We have spoke on the phone, but it's awesome to see you face to face. Absolutely.
I know, finally.
Your beautiful hair, absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
I love your new background, and I think you look beautiful too.
So I'll ask some questions, and then we could talk about a little bit about your acting career, and what you've been doing and what you're doing now. You know, in and before COVID and after COVID. So,
life before the pandemic.
Right. So, Michelle, if you were to encourage the women of this generation or the younger generation, what would be your main focus?
I think that the kids of this generation, they are in a completely different element and environment growing up with modern technology than any of us that were born before the year 2000, basically. You know, these kids were born with their phones in their hands, and their attention span is nothing more than 90 seconds. And I'm trying to process the logistics behind all of it, but if I wanted to be inspiring to this new generation of kids, it's a different inspiration because it would be more of them learning valuable lessons and wisdom and taking it in rather than processing something new. Because the experiences that I had as a child growing up and then being in my 20s in the late 90s, New York and Manhattan, and seeing everything evolve and change, where everyone had a cell phone, everyone had a computer, everyone was online all the time. Mm-hmm. It's so different. And so I feel like I inspire people with my written word. I started writing a journal in December of 1998.
Oh, really?
And so now I'm on my 37th journal and I'm writing a book.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And so when I post on social media, I try to be uplifting and positive, and because I think that's the only thing that people want to hear right now. I'm really trying not to be on social media as much as I used to, because there is negativity out there and there is bullying, and people sit in judgment of other people for the things that they do and they say and they wear. And some things are definitely slanderous. But I think in order to consider yourself an inspiring person right now, it's just about staying in a positive mind frame and trying to exude positivity and share positivity with others. I think that to be inspiring in this day and age has taken a different form than it used to be. It's so sad what's happening to the youth right now, and, you know, that they are so consumed with being popular and getting likes and getting followers. Like, that's not life. That's not validating. Like, I'm happy for you that your caramel macchiato came back to Starbucks, but that doesn't help me pay my rent. And your kids are super cute, but I don't need to see 10,000 photos of them going to school on the first day, because that doesn't help me put gas in my car. But it's the give or take. It's what we choose to mentally and verbally consume, you know, with technology nowadays. So I think that being inspiring is just staying positive.
Right. Absolutely. And you're right, you know, and in the pandemic it was even worse because they couldn't go to school, they couldn't socialize face to face, and, you know, they were just stuck in the houses, basically.
And that alienates them even more.
It did.
And makes them go more into their phone and more into their computer. Like, I don't know about you, but I grew up playing with my friends and my neighbors in my neighborhood, and riding bikes, going to the park, or playing football in my front yard. We had a pool, so I would have pool parties and have my friends come over and go swimming after school, and doing all kinds of things in that regard. Like, kids don't that nowadays. They sit inside and they play video games, or they watch videos on their phone, or they have to have stimulation in the car. So
Right.
Parents have those SUVs or minivans that have the TVs in the headrest. It's just like there's stimulation everywhere. I don't think the kids nowadays know how to slow down,
Yeah.
sit still, read a book,
Right.
and take in intelligence and education. And the pandemic like took that
Made it
to a
worse.
whole nother level.
Exactly. It did. And, you know, and in England we all went out too. And, you know, they have the local swimming baths and the ice rink and that we used to go to. But usually it rains. So if we wanted to go and if we wanted to go outside and get wet, we just go out in the rain and jump in a puddle. That was like, but we went out. Hey, my auntie said, "You're not sugar, you won't melt," and used to kick us out in the back garden. But yeah, we spent most of the time outside playing. Absolutely. So it's good for sports, and now they've gone back to school. So hopefully, you know, I'm going to try and get my son into some track or something, some kind of sport that he can.
Physical activity.
Physical activity, yes, yeah.
I'll have like couch butt myself.
I know. Michelle, what inspired you into this particular career in the industry?
I started performing and singing when I was really, really little. I learned that I could sing when I was about 3 or 4. And then I joined my choir at the temple, the youth choir. When I was 6, I was the youngest person to ever sing in their choir. And I sang with them for a couple years. And then stopped when I was like 8 years old because I left going to private school at my temple to go to public school when I was in 4th grade.
Aww.
And so being in public school, we had chorus, we had the arts, and then I was tested for gifted. So I went to a special school on a short yellow bus. And I did that twice a week
with the regular folks.
No, folks. And so I did that, and so that inspired me to no end with my creative outlets. I took dance classes, I took chorus classes, I started doing little plays and performances with my sister and all of our friends, and we would perform for our parents. And I always loved getting into makeup and dressing up and doing my hair and, you know, just playing like real little girls used to do.
Aww.
And then in 7th grade, when I went into junior high, I got into drama and theater and chorus and started doing musicals, and then started running to be in the thespians and being, you know, a part of the choral clubs and performing clubs. And it was just all consuming. And then it was just what I loved. I loved being on stage. I loved memorizing material. I loved performing. I loved getting laughs. I loved getting applause. I loved getting standing ovations, just all of it.
Aww.
And when I was 15, my uncle, my dad's brother, is a CPA. And he was doing the taxes for a modeling agency on South Beach. And they saw my picture on his desk and they were just like, "Oh my God, she's gorgeous. Who is she? How old is she? How tall is she? Did she ever think about getting into modeling?" And my uncle called my dad that night and told him what had happened. And that was it. I started modeling when I was 15 years old, and I modeled throughout high school and then college. And then when I graduated from college, I moved home and started auditioning for commercial work, not just print work and runway. And through that, I met like casting directors who, you know, booked me on Any Given Sunday, which was my first movie. And that was in 1999, February of 99. And now we're in, you know, almost September of 2021. So I'm in this for the long haul.
You certainly are. I know. You've been on quite a few shows and got an award. And, yeah, and you're very dedicated. A friend of yours told me you were the most hard-working woman she's ever met.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. I do. I work really, really, really hard every day, 12 hours a day. Obviously this weekend too, because I've got, you know, auditions that I do on the weekend. So it's 7 days a week. I don't get breaks. When casting, started working from home, all of my auditions became self-tapes, and I've done 175 self-tape auditions just since March of 2020.
That's a lot.
So it's kind of out of control. On one hand, I'm super grateful for the opportunities, for the auditions, for the casting directors believing in me.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's a lot of work. It's, downloading the sides and memorizing. I'm not, getting into my car anymore, driving to an office, going into the room for 5 minutes, getting back in my car and driving home. Like, I have to find somebody to read with me, and I have to shoot it, and then I have to upload it and edit it. And, what used to be a 3-hour round trip audition is now like a 5, 10, 12-hour feat.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. And COVID has changed the game and made it harder in one respect, technology wise, but made it easier for casting directors, because since they're not doing the work anymore, now they can offer the opportunities to more people, because they used to like to keep the amount of people in their office to a minimum. So for any given co-star or guest star, casting director would never really see more than 5, 10, maybe 25 or 30 people. Now they can see 100, 200 people for any given role, because they're not coming into the office. They're just simply watching videos that we are editing, cutting, and uploading and sending to them.
You're a producer, aren't you? As well as actress.
I am a one-woman studio. I'm a one-woman production company right now.
Yeah.
It is all-consuming, and it's a lot of work and a lot of time. But that one booking, that one, makes it all worthwhile and incredibly validating. Yes.
Well, let's hope now with the industry, with COVID, people vaccinated, and I know you're vaccinated, and so it's much easier to get a part because you are vaccinated rather than those that won't. So, or afraid of the vaccine or whatever. Let's hope the industry starts opening up again like the rest of the states are. So, businesses are opening up. And hopefully the industry will start, because I know the industry took it quite hard. And the people that worked in the industry, listening to the artists that I've been speaking to, you all were hit very, very hard. And I don't think many people that are not in the industry understand the level of how much you all were affected with jobs and money and income and that, you guys suffered too, and you're just human, just like everybody else. Like the barber down the street or the lady working in the restaurant, everybody suffered, including the industry and a lot of people in the industry. So I hope people see this and realise that, that, hey, they don't see an actress or an actor on my interview and think, well, they're okay, they must be loaded. No, it doesn't work that way. A lot of hard work and dedication goes into this industry. And when COVID shut down, it shut down the industry too, and it left many, many artists, actresses and actors without income and struggling like the rest of the people in America. So I'm really glad that you stayed with it, Michelle, because they're very honoured to have you. You're a very hard-working person.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And
You're
I'm
welcome.
grateful for your kind words and your support. Yeah, I mean, just to put things into perspective for your audience and your viewers. So starting in March of 2020, up until this weekend, including the 3 that I have to shoot this weekend, that will be 178 auditions in a year and a half. I have booked one job. So I did one episode of 911, which was 2 days worth of shooting. And then the job that I booked was a movie, which was 2 days of shooting. So in a year and a half, in the middle of a pandemic, when I've had no work coming in, I've only worked 4 days. 4 days in 18 months. So if that doesn't put perspective for people that don't understand how hard the industry was hit, that's it.
Right. How do you feel about what's transpired since COVID-19? And do you see us returning to a new normality very soon?
The industry has been completely turned upside down and inside out because of COVID. I made a choice for myself. It was a personal choice that I wanted to get vaccinated in March which was exactly 12 months in, simply because I felt in my gut that eventually production companies were going to stop paying actors and crew, cast and crew, to get tested for COVID, because the production companies are paying for these tests. But it's not just one test per person. If you have to go in for a wardrobe fitting, if you book a job, then you have to get tested for COVID, get a negative result before you can go into work. If you're working 1 or 2 days, you have to be tested within 24 to 48 hours of every day that you shoot. So if you shoot on a Friday and then you shoot on a Monday, you have to get tested again after your Friday shoot to shoot again the following Monday. So for any given project, you're getting tested between 4 and 7 times. I got tested 9 times over a 2-month period for the movie that I just shot. So I thought that eventually production companies were going to be less adamant about the testing, because it was going to come down to booking the job, who's vaccinated and who's not vaccinated. Oh, actor A isn't vaccinated, but actor B is vaccinated. Okay, actor B, you're hired. And I just started to see that in certain casting notifications in August. So what I thought was going to happen is slowly happening. And a lot of the casting directors are putting in the notes for the invitations to put yourself on self-tape. They're saying, do not submit if you are not vaccinated. So things are already shifting gears where, you know, it's not just a choice that people are making to not get vaccinated. There's between 200 and 400 people working on a functioning TV show or movie crew. So if your choice not to get vaccinated creates a domino effect in others, because look at all these people that are vaccinated that are still getting the Delta variant. You know, their symptoms are not as bad, but it can happen. And so it's the choice that you're making for yourself, but you're putting other people in danger, which is the reason that I decided to do it, because I wanted to do my part in order to be a working actor and be part of a functioning production where I didn't want to put anyone in jeopardy and I wanted to book the job. So I got vaccinated and that was my choice. You know, I don't put my choice on other people, and I can't sit in judgment of what other people do or do not want to do to their body. And if it's something that you don't want to do, then I have absolute respect for it. But I'm one of those people that I get the flu vaccine every single year because, again, I am on set with hundreds of other people and stuff gets passed around. You know, you've got people in the makeup trailer touching your face. You got people in the hair department doing your hair, people in wardrobe that are touching you. You've got the sound department that's putting the mic on you. You know, you've got props. Everybody's touching you. Everyone's coming into your space. And so if I didn't make that choice to protect myself, then I'm the one who would suffer the repercussions by not getting booked on the job. And so I just simply took that out of the equation for myself. And now it's becoming more prominent and more relevant, where production is saying, we will continue to test for COVID, but you have a better chance of booking the job if you're vaccinated.
Right.
You don't realize how many things you touch as a human being throughout the day until you're not allowed to touch or people don't want you to touch them, you know?
Right.
And I'm a hugger too. So like not being able to touch people or hug people right now.
I know, it's really difficult, isn't it?
It's horrible.
Hug. I know, I think the first time when everything smoothed out, humans need interaction and human touch. Human touch, absolutely. What out of all the charities that you could choose from, which one would you advocate for and why?
I actually support a lot, and they're all they all have to do with the environment, and one has to do with animals. So I'm a big supporter of the ASPCA. Because I love animals and I think that they should be taken care of, and you know, I'm a rescue, not, you know, adopt, not shop, and you know, because the babies that that get rescued, they end up rescuing us. All of my animals have been rescues. We all survive by giving unconditional love back and forth.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely an animal advocate. But I'm super eco-friendly in my house and in my life. Everything I own is bamboo. I don't use plastic bags. Everything that I use is recyclable. And when I say everything in my life is bamboo, I mean everything. Like my toothbrushes, my hair brushes, my placemats, my dish rack, my fruit stands, my bowls, everything is eco-friendly in my house. So I support a lot of, thank you. I support a lot of green, global, and universal foundations and charities. I support a lot of Leonardo DiCaprio foundations because he has subsidiaries like World Wildlife Federation. I support Jane Goodall. I support For Ocean, Oceana. I support National Geographic. Anything or anyone or whatever organization is trying to save this planet from what is happening right now, like they need all of the help that they can get. When I hear people on the news talking or overhear people talking in a restaurant or a bar or just out in general, that they don't think that climate change or global warming is real, I'm like, we're in it right now.
I know.
We're live. I mean, the
Look
entire
around.
west coast of the country is on fire. And it's not just California. It's Oregon, it's Washington State, it's Nevada, it's Arizona. Like everything in the West is on fire. And all of our smoke, all of it is being blown to the East Coast. And all of the haze that they're having in Boston and New York, that's from us.
I know.
Out here. You know?
Yeah.
And look how many hurricanes have already come up. And, you know, I'm from Miami, Florida. So I grew up with hurricanes.
Right.
And I saw what the beginning of global warming and natural disaster, you know, climate change was within Hurricane Andrew. Right. August 16th, 1992, changed my life forever. And that was our first sign, you know, and that was 30 years ago. But we've made everything worse for ourselves and we're suffering the repercussions. These tornadoes that are coming in, the hurricanes that are coming in, these crazy cold fronts and blizzard, like the weather systems that have literally been destroying our country from coast to coast, because every single state has their issues. You know, natural disaster is everywhere, you know. And so, like, if California could get some of the rain from these hurricanes, because we're in a drought, you know, and it would help put the fires out, you know, and so
shift it over.
But like at the end of the day, we just have to really take care of this planet. Like that needs to be our first priority. So I feel like if I just pay it forward to one person, and maybe they pay it forward to another person, that's how the domino effect begins. And slowly, one person at a time, we will be able to save the planet. Hopefully. But I think that those are the most important charities and the most important foundations that I support.
Yeah, because it's not just for our generation, it's for the future generations. When we're gone, they need somewhere to live too. And the planet. I
want my children and my grandchildren to be able to go to the beach before the beach doesn't exist anymore, because everything's like underground or, you know, washed away or completely destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I would be super excited if they were living on another planet at that point in time, but let's not destroy the one that we're currently residing on.
Yeah.
You know,
let's save this planet. And
let's save the planet.
Let's save the planet. Climate change is real. You know, we've got to put action into the theories and behind our words. There's some action got to, like cars, electric cars, and.
But again, it's hard to be proactive when you're home in the middle of a global pandemic.
I know.
You know, it's that hurry up and wait. Where like you have so many ideas and you want to do so many things, but like you can't even walk outside without wearing a mask on, you know. So And then all these gloves and masks, that's creating, new issues and more trash and more garbage with all this PPE and more things that are, not eco-friendly or biodegradable. And it's disheartening, the things that we have to physically wear to keep ourselves safe and healthy that continue to hurt and hinder the wildlife and plant life that's, becoming extinct.
Yeah, I know. And the oceans, the plastic in the oceans, I mean, do people realise that most of the oxygen actually comes from the ocean? It comes from the trees, but a lot of it comes from the ocean.
I know, and I'm born and raised in Miami, so we grew up like going out, to Miami Beach, and I loved being in the ocean, and it was clean and warm when I was growing up. And now it's just dirty, and I don't go into the Pacific Ocean at all because it's cold and gross. Like, the oceans are very different. And I'm a Pisces. Like,
yes,
I'm a fish. I come from the water, And so to see what's happening, that's why when I have the extra money, I support whatever I can financially. Right. Try to make a difference and, set an example for my friends and family by doing what I can at home, having everything that's bamboo and not using plastic and being eco-friendly and being cognizant of like the utilities and the power that I consume in my home, like being on my computer or watching TV or running my air conditioning. Like if I'm not in a specific room, then there doesn't need to be a light on. I even try to do like dishes at a certain time of day, so I'm not using water all day.
Right.
I'm if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down type of girl. So try to do what I can. And I know that there are other people like me around the world that are just one person that are trying to make a difference. And it's that kind of mentality that eventually, hopefully, will trickle down, in the grand scheme of things, and everybody around the world will be more, cognizant of what they're using, what they're throwing away, and being more mindful of, not doing as much damage to the environment as we have over the past 30 years, because it's just, we did this and we're suffering the repercussions. Mother Nature is pissed and she is fighting back.
Right, that's what I was saying. She's acting up. She's like, you're not taking any notice, so I'm going to give you stuff, so I'll make you notice,
Yep.
That's
it's
what
like
she's doing.
Zeus with his,
My dog Zeus. Yeah, the lightning.
I'm very into astrology and mythology. And so, Zeus would take his, what was it?
Lightning bolt.
It was a lightning bolt, but it was also like a trough. He had a trident.
Right.
Zeus had a trident. And so I killed a man with a trident. Did you ever see Anchorman? With Will Ferrell and Steve Carell's character, when they get into that big battle of the news stations, he's like, I killed a man with a trident. And he's just like, yeah, we can't even talk about that.
And
anyway, it's like, Zeus, Mother Nature, like, he's pissed. Like, everything is erupting and brewing, and it's all coming from the core. I feel like we're going to end up in that crazy Kevin Costner movie, Waterworld.
Oh, my gosh.
Beginning of the movie where you see him and he's on his boat, and he, like, gets up and he pees in a cup, and then he's got to distill the urine and clean it and turn it into drinking water, and then he brushes his teeth with it, and then he spits it into his plant, and he like completely recycles the urine into water, and it all comes full circle. And I was just like, that is a lot of work.
I know. It is. I'll be like, I couldn't brush my teeth with that. Look, no.
I don't want to go through that much.
No, I have enough time curling my hair. That's enough for me. I couldn't be doing
curling
all that.
My hair. don't want to curl my hair, much less turn my pee into fresh drinking water so I can brush my teeth.
I'll be
Oh my
like,
God,
I'll
that's hilarious.
be like, I need mouthwash. Where's mouthwash when you need it and you need the ocean? I said, someone take me back. This isn't right. It's not working for me. I'm out of here.
I want out. I'm out. Survey says.
Cut the movie. Let's go back to the beginning.
This isn't working for me. Everyone back to one.
Is there anything that no one has asked you in an interview that you would have liked them to ask?
That's a good question. I like talking about books and writing, and nobody really ever asks me about it. I'll volunteer it on my own accord. But I watched a video. So I follow law of the attraction on social media.
Right.
And a lot of times they will do inspirational videos from celebrities that sometimes just have something, or someone says something that just clicks and resonates with me.
Right.
I actually saw something this morning from Steve Harvey, who I love because I love watching Family Feud, and he's so funny. And he himself is so inspiring because he lived in his car for almost 4 years.
Oh my gosh.
Lived in his car, no money, no nothing. When he was starting out doing stand-up. And now he's a multimillionaire and has numerous shows on all at the same time and his own production company. And so he just within his own story is inspiring. But what I saw this morning really resonated with me. It said, we all have a gift. As soon as we are born, we are given one super special gift per person. And it is that one thing that elates us and lights us up that we absolutely love to do unconditionally. And for me, it's writing. And I know that I am meant to share my words and my story and my message with the world. I have always been a writer ever since I was little. I have every single book report and thesis and paper that I've turned in since I was in 7th grade. I still have all of them. I studied English literature and creative writing at Florida State University. And so I was writing on a daily basis. I was reading on a weekly basis. I had an amazing, inspiring English teacher when I was in high school, Mr. Kendall. And we were reading the classics. We read To Kill a Mockingbird and Waiting for Godot and The Metamorphosis, and we did Shakespeare, and we did Faulkner and Kafka and everything. And it broadened my horizons, and I still read. I have 4 books that I'm currently reading right now, 2 of which I'm utilizing to do research for something. And I started writing in my journal in December of 98. Now I'm on number 37 and I'm turning it into a book. And it's not just that aspect of my writing for my creative outlet. I also take time and thought into what I post on social media. And I also do newsletters that I send out to family and friends to keep them abreast of what I'm working on, or if I'm going to be on TV, or if I booked a movie, or I'll do one for this interview to promote, your channel and this interview that we're having right now. And I get a lot of compliments and a lot of feedback on the things that I post or in my newsletters or what have you. And people say, you're such a brilliant scribe. You have such a way with words. You're so caring and compassionate, and you express yourself so well. And so I know that that's my gift. I was born to be a writer, and I was born to share my message, my story, and my books with the world. Aww. And so I find validation and gratitude in even the journal entries that I write on a daily basis. But I also carry it further because I do have a gratitude journal. I have a notebook that's on my nightstand next to my bed. And so even at night, right before I go to bed, I'm writing 5 things that happen throughout the day that I'm grateful for. That, you know, before I get into bed, I want to show God that I'm grateful for something that happened in the day, even if it's something simple, like I'm grateful for my walk. I'm grateful for that residual check because it helped me pay a bill. I'm grateful for the residual check so that I could buy groceries. I'm grateful I had money to put gas in my car. I'm grateful for my kitty. I'm grateful for my dad. I'm grateful for Samantha. You know, so like
I'm grateful for you.
Whatever. Yay!
And I'd love to see that newsletter.
So, yes.
You should post that on. You should post that on social media. Just do a weekly and do a link to have a page and do a weekly link to your newsletter. Just post it out. I would.
Oh, I do. When I do my newsletters, I post them all over social media and I share them.
Okay.
I just don't do them often, and I haven't been doing them a lot through COVID. It's been a hard year for everybody. Everyone I know has had loss, sickness within themselves or their family.
Right.
They've had issues with work and finances or career or family or kids. Stay humbled and keep everything down a notch. So I actually used to do the newsletters like once every 6 to 8 weeks, maybe do like 5 or 6 a year. But I've only done like 2 or 3 since COVID because, you know, I've never wanted to invade someone else's personal space with my news or oversharing. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Well, your book, I'm very interested. I know you're going to come on the show in season 3 and talk about your book when you've published it. So
yes.
What inspired you to, I know writing is an inspiration to you, but was there something that sparked you to write the book, for the story behind it? Or can you not share that yet?
No, absolutely. Like I always gave myself a projection of, let me publish it when I accomplish this, or let me do it when I reach this point in my career. But when I reached my 35th journal, which was about 2 years ago, I was just like, what am I doing with these? Why am I waiting? You know, why can't I start writing it now and putting it together now? Because it's basically just the journal entries and some sort of compilation. And I'm not going to share all the journal entries, but I'm trying to figure out how to get them into a book. It might have to be 2 parts, but I'm just like, what am I waiting for? You know, people love stories about inspiration and perseverance and, you know, trial and error and, you know, falling flat on your face and rising above. And that's what my journal is like, you know, being a pretentious, disgusting, you know, 20-year-old, whatever I was, living in Manhattan. And, you know, I want people to see what happened and why I am the way that I am now. And now what I'm learning is the importance of life is to stay positive and stay focused and be of service to others, because we all rise together. Absolutely. And so when the people that are in your universe, you're all in flow. And so when one person starts to succeed, other people start to succeed, and then you all rise together. And, you know, especially in this industry, I look at it as my past experiences were seeds that were planted, because everyone comes into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And right here, right now, at this moment in time, in my present career, people from my past are starting to come full circle. And there are new domino links and new like pieces of the puzzle that are spinning in orbit around me and coming together into fruition. And all of my dreams are starting to manifest. And so had I not been, you know, a screw up in my 20s in New York, then maybe I wouldn't have met so-and-so or taken this class or, you know, gone down this path. And so writing my book is cathartic for me because I'm learning to forgive my younger self for being, excuse the word, a fuck up. I don't know if you're going to have to bleep that out. But I'm learning to forgive my younger self because all the mistakes and all the horrible things that I did or said or whatever have led me to this point in my life right now where I'm overwhelmed and full of love and gratitude on a daily basis. Yeah. And it has changed my perspective on my career and my life and my relationships with my friends and my family. And so sharing my story, I want people to see that change is possible. Right. You can manifest your dreams if you have patience and persistence and you work hard. You know, there are so many things that are possible, and that's why I want to share my story.
Oh, that's a perfect story to share, Michelle. And,
thank you.
And you know, you grew, you learned, and you grew. And I think if we go through life without making mistakes, then we've never learned anything. That's how we learn. Right. You know, you fall down, you get back up. Just never give up. Just keep getting back up.
Dust yourself off and try again.
Right, that's what I say. Dust yourself off and try again. What role have you played in that you saw more of your own personality in that role? And which one was it?
I think I see myself a little bit in all of my characters. Not 100%, but a little bit. I did an amazing play a couple years ago where I played a married Jewish mother. And, you know, that's the way that I was raised. And so a lot of the religious aspects of my upbringing growing up, you know, going to temple and getting bat mitzvahed, and that all tied into me playing that role. I have played a drug addict and, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll living in my 20s in New York. You know, I've been there and done that. So there were pieces of me in that role, and I won an award for that role too, which was funny. I played a murdering mob boss, and I've never murdered anybody, and I've never been a mob boss, but Randy Roach has a empowering demeanor about her, and she won't let anybody, you know, put her down or get in her way. And that's kind of the mentality that I have in this business, because I'll get 5,000 no's, but again, it's that one yes that can change everything for you. And so I felt empowered playing Randy Roach. I felt, you know, I felt connected to my religious roots, playing Aviva in Married People. You know, and I have compassion for police officers now, more so than I ever did, because I play a cop over and over and over again. I've done it on a couple TV shows, and I've done it in like 4 or 5 movies now, where I've either played a detective, a CIA operative, FBI agent, a police officer. And it's not easy doing what they do, because every single night that they walk out of the house, every single day that they leave their house and leave their family, like, especially nowadays when people are full of rage and anger and hatred, and they're cooped up in their houses, and people are going crazy right now. You know, I mean, they literally put their life on the line every single day, trying to serve and protect the community in which they work. And so I have a new, you know, perspective on that job. So I learn a little bit with every character. I feel connected to every character that I play. But I know that there are roles that are going to come into my universe sooner rather than later, that I am working towards right now at this moment, that are going to be career-defining roles that are going to change the game for me on every level. Awesome. And that's what I'm working towards.
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to happen. Be positive. Be positive, Michelle. Be positive. And you work so hard, you deserve it, because you've worked so hard. Much. And you don't give up. You just continue on. and continue on.
Never give up. Never give up.
Throw
Never
it
give
out
up.
into the universe and it will come back.
Yes. Ask, believe, and receive.
Right.
But live in gratitude for the blessings that you have now before you receive more.
That's awesome, Michelle. Thank you so much for coming on Chatbox with Sam.
Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. I love you. This was so amazing. Thank you so much for inviting me onto your show. What a lovely chat. I'm so grateful for you. I have been so honored and so humbled to be able to sit and chat with you. And I just want anyone and everyone that's watching to not only stay safe and healthy, and, you know, keep on shining your beautiful light, even in the darkness of this pandemic. But at the end of the day, if you do have a dream and people tell you no, just smile and nod and know in your heart to say yes.
That's awesome. Thank you.